Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Monday to you all. We made it to the start of the week. Not as much of an achievement as to make it later on, is it? Hi, I'm Cam Wilson. Thank you for joining. I am a internet reporter for crikey.com.au. I am a Twitch streamer. I'm a dog owner. I'm a wife guy, I guess, now. And it's great to have you all here. Thank you for joining me. How are you all doing? Are we feeling the like you've been in we're in February. You had a bit of pep to start the year, and now you're like, okay, I'm getting I'm getting over it. Not me, certainly not. Yes, that's it. I was tempted not to turn up today in solidarity with the New South Wales government, which was striking for who knows what reason. But I decided I would break the picket line, turn up to my post to do some posting, and excited to be here with you all. How are you? Who's in the chat? Hey, bored hermit. We need a Borat sound. Well, funny you should mention sound, because I have a soundboard that I haven't tried out at all, and I've got 3 sounds, and I wonder if it works. Let me see if this works. Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the soundboard. Pretty high tech, huh? Little old Cam. Tech reporter. He can do it. I'm pretty good at this stuff. Oh, God. Hello, Crispy Chips, my wife. Flailing Muppet. I'm one fuck away from joining the Great Resignation. Ooh. Do it. They said that the Great Resignation wasn't real in Australia. Proven wrong. Real Mitchie. Isn't it past your bedtime? Not quite. My bedtime is 9:30. I'm an early boy. Hey, Hardzan. Nice to have you here. Hello, Hailstorm Oz. G Josie. Regina, my faithful lieutenant. Hello, how are you? Sateus? Okay, Sateus, can you please put your pronunciation in the chat again? Sorry, I forgot. Curvy Gamer Wife, hello. Good to see you back, J-Dog. Have I missed anyone? I'm sure I have. Hello to everyone. Sydney here. Ooh, 8-year career in charities because of burnout. Man, I've heard charities is very, very bad for that. Very, very bad for that. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Alrighty. Okay, so we've got a great one today. We've got heaps to talk about, as usual. I'm not going to have enough to actually even time to get through. But, well, we got to talk about the strike that wasn't a strike. We have to talk about... We got to talk about how we gave Zali Stegel a bit of a hit last week. So turning that back and giving a bit of fairness, considering the Nats, who love to show their whole ass, they love to do that. They also made their own mistake. And then we've also got Albo the Communist. It was no doubt Albo the Communist who convinced the New South Wales government to go on strike. That's his kind of thing, you know? I wouldn't put it past him. Albo's from New South Wales as well. Join the dots, people. And, we got to talk about the ScoMo welding stuff as well. It's too good. It's too good not to. Oh, okay. First, let's quickly address this. So, I've seen this in the chat, and I've seen it on Twitter as well. So people are saying that Joe Rogan on Spotify is missing. So let us have a look. Thank you, Aramet. That's very lovely. Thank you so much. So we've got a little Spotify here. And if I look up Joe Rogan, it is not there. And if you try and go through search as well, Thank you, Scouse Raw. That's lovely. Thank you so much. If you try go through here as well, you can't find it. Now, I doubt that it's actually been taken down. Actually, Sadbots is saying I couldn't find the Obama podcast either. Obama podcast on Spotify. Hey, G. Josley Net. Do I pronounce the K? G. Josley Net. Thank you. So here's the Obama podcast. So we'll see if this works as well. Oh, that's still there. Okay. Well, I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll find out, huh? People are talking about it. I mean, I saw something earlier in the week. Joe Rogan podcast. Joe Rogan podcast is back on Spotify. They said there's technical issues. So that was a day or two ago, but I'm assuming it's the same thing. All righty. Oh, someone else said hi for the first time as well. Or someone who I hadn't seen before. Hello. Someone. Okay, sorry, I missed someone. But hello to someone who said hello for the first time. Okay, let's talk about the strike that wasn't.
Ready to work. So network behind me, all the people.
Let's just not do that. Okay. Sorry, I haven't done that well. So today, when I woke up, one of the first things I saw on Twitter was that there was a strike in New South Wales, that the union apparently was doing industrial action, which is something that they're allowed to do under certain circumstances in Australia, where our industrial relations are not particularly strong for strike action. But then it soon came out that that wasn't the entire story. The Transport Union has accused the New South Wales government of playing politics with commuters amidst claims the two parties had come to a weekend agreement which would have prevented a shutdown of the state's train network. Sydney's transport network was thrown into chaos on Monday after a long-running industrial dispute between the Rail Workers Union and the New South Wales office saw staff. Hello, H-Moon, nice to have you here. So the dispute between the rail workers and New South Wales government saw staff across the network locked out and train services ground to a halt. Here's what our dear leader, Scott Morrison, had to say about it. Scott Morrison has responded to the suspension of Sydney's train services due to industrial action with the expected level of fury. This is not how you behave, and this is not how you treat your fellow citizens. This is not how this should be done, and I feel for all those Sydney-siders who were affected by the strike. Even worse, said Morrison, is that it came on the day Australia's international borders reopened. This is an important day that the Australians have looked forward to. The union movement has really decided to pull the rug out from under our first day back. Unfortunately, as we know, and I mean, we can't assume that the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, would know about what was happening in the most populous state, a major dispute. We can't know, particularly if he was going to be asked on radio about it. We just assume that no one told him. But I mean, here are the potential options. Either Scott Morrison was not informed, that no one told him that this was happening, and he just believed the tweets that he saw at the start of the day, or he's completely full of shit, right? Because what he tried to do, and what Dominic Perrottet tried to do, let me see if I can pull up, was blame the unions for this. Whereas in actual fact, it was the train. It was actually his fault, and as the government had locked out workers. I don't have that there. Sorry. I'll show you what happened. What happened shortly after it was announced. And I should say, not only was it announced, but it was published across, I saw 9 newspapers. I saw News Corp. I saw the ABC said that it was, I saw them say that this was all a strike, so I believed it. And then I saw this tweet. Good morning. The New South Wales government has stopped the trains across Sydney today, not the workers. So as we listened to the news this morning, the industrial action is being taken by the New South Wales government, the employer. The union applied to take action in pursuit of their claims. They got dragged into the IRC over the weekend. The union made changes to the plan action. They showed up today as agreed over the weekend, and the employer shut all the trains down. The workers say they're willing to work their set hours on the master roster. The employer changes the roster to cover all the gaps. So basically, Sydney trains must be relying on overtime and understaffing to run the network. The union was very clear this morning. That is from someone from the union movement. And as Hellstorm says in the chat, the SMH suggests that trains won't be going until Wednesday when Fair Work hearings recommence. So negotiations started again, or mediation started at 9 a.m. this morning, and then it is adjourned. They haven't come to some conclusion, and it's going to, I think, recommence on Wednesday. So essentially, nothing's going to happen. So rather than having a train network where people just did their rosters. Let me explain. So I don't know how well you guys know, but apparently a lot of the rail networks depend on fewer amount of workers working a significant amount of overtime and consistently working overtime. And what the union was striking against was in relation to that. And I'm not sure off the top of my head, but what I believe what was happening was that they were saying, here's our strike, or here's our industrial action. We are choosing just to work our rosters and not overtime, because the argument is, if you depend on us to work on overtime all the time, well then you're placing us in an uncomfortable position, so we're just going to do what we're told to do. And we're telling you ahead of time, you got warning that we're just going to do the roster time. Then the New South Wales government cracked the shits and said, well, we're going to stop the trains. They argued that it wasn't safe, but I think it really backfired on them. And I think, they kind of relied on the fact that people wouldn't be able to get the word out. But things like travel so quickly. And I mean, look, I think I have no idea how journalists found out about the strike in the first place. I don't know why they decided to report that that what had happened was striking and wasn't actually the reaction of the New South Wales government. But they did. They reported it out, it seems, as if they were just told, potentially by the government, what had happened. And they were misled on that. So, I mean, look, the whole point for it to... music's too loud. Okay, got it. Yeah, here we go. Moz 65222. Friend left City Trains because they kept the thing running on overtime, went and worked on coal trains in Queensland. Yeah, there you go. I mean, sorry, and I don't think I've explained this very well. Striking, of course, is something that you can do to show your power as a workforce. But also, depending on what it is, what it affects, there is a chance that it's not interpreted, that it does not win public support. Now, I mean, realistically speaking, if we see someone striking, particularly if it's for something like, I'm pretty sure they're asking for a pay rise of 3%, which is pretty much it may even be a actual pay decrease in real terms because of inflation, but it's pretty mild. And the state government wants to give less than that. So if they want to give less than that, essentially they want to cut your wages in real terms. So to strike, you say, well, this is how powerful we are. You need us for that. But, obviously we will do certain kinds of strikes in the lead up to it, perhaps so that we don't have to get to a full-on strike. What the New South Wales government has done is said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to make it seem as if they are striking, that they've given no notice, that all these commuters had no notice of this in advance, because literally got announced this morning, they will be told, they'll find out when they arrive there and their trains don't come, and they will be pissed and shitty at the people because they won't have had a chance to prepare. And hopefully that public pressure will make it then easier for the New South Wales government to get what they want. Unfortunately, they didn't expect the fact that, I think news travelled pretty quick. But even still, it kind of got out there it's still, the wrong news got out there in a bit. And one thing I did see before is, sorry, I just need to find this tweet because I don't think I linked to it properly. But there was a tweet that was saying that, let me see this one. Anthony. There was a tweet, Joyce Pointers. There was a tweet saying that someone, yeah, here we go. I'm going to pull it up. In the, yeah, here we go. I believe this is the AFR's industrial workplace journalist. New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet denied the government shutdown of Sydney trains was an Alan Joyce inspired IR strategy a la the Qantas grounding in 2011, where they did the same thing. Transport for New South Wales Secretary Rob Sharp was a Qantas executive at the time of grounding. Just very convenient, huh? Very convenient. Sorry, I've got some gum in my mouth. Yes. Anyway, that was, a bit of colour and movement, bit of excitement today. Hey, speaking of ScoMo and completely either being uninformed or full of shit, this was so good towards the end of last week. Oh my God, it was good.
With the Northern Territory's 2 seats in play at the coming election,
okay, on the tools once again.
Scott Morrison wants to shift rusted-on Labor voters.
Oh, right, so you used to be a tradesman before?
No.
His blinding insight,
This edge here?
turning the blowtorch onto Anthony Albanese.
Did you guys, did you guys see what they did there? Turning the blowtorch on Anthony Albanese because he's holding a blowtorch, and then the video, I don't know if you guys can see this, but they're very, very subtle. But what they've done is they've overlaid Anthony Albanese, which is, by the way, Scott Morrison's political opponent, over what he's blowtorching. So the effect of that is that it seems as if he is literally doing it. Very, very subtle. Very, very clever editing and wordplay there. Not sure if you got it. Only people with very high IQs can kind of get this kind of stuff.
Most left-wing leaning Labor leader that we have seen since Gough Whitlam.
And you know what happened to
Drag
Gough
Labor
Whitlam.
further into a fight on national security and foreign policy with this.
The left of the Labor Party and the Greens, denounce Israel as war criminals.
Now both in Darwin, Mr Morrison said
I wish.
he wasn't accusing Labor of anti-Semitism,
Well, I didn't say anyone was anti-Semitic this morning.
saying he was simply repeating comments made by leading figures in Labor's left over the years, including Tanya Plibersek.
These are relevant facts as we go into an election.
Labor's formal policy supports Israel, but also calls on the next Labor government to recognise a Palestinian state. It's personal and brutal, and the real campaign's still weeks away.
Hello,
Anthony
Kyle.
Albanese says Scott Morrison is doing a Donald Trump, peddling fake news.
What I want to do is unite the country. What Scott Morrison keeps trying to do as a desperate political measure is divide the country.
From mining billionaire Twiggy Forrest,
I just say to the political spectrum, calm down.
Man, how
but
turn
there's
this thing
little
off?
chance of that. Mark Riley, 7 News.
Yeah. Look. It would be cool as hell if Albo was actually to the left of the Labor Party. If he was actually indeed calling Israel or parts of Israel or the people who are conducting the military stuff war criminals, that would be at least exciting. We'd have something going on, but actually no, that's not what's happening. I have a question here. Timber Lag asks, Cammy, did you really eat that mystery HSP? Yes. I ate it yesterday, and I also ate the rest of it for breakfast this morning, and it was delightful. I put up a picture on Twitter. I did it. See if I have any other photos. No, I don't think so. Just I just really enjoyed it. You know, whacked it. So the story was that I think we were out the night before, and we came back, and then like outside our door on our porch, inside our gate, because we have this thing where it's like a gate, and our house is actually a little bit high off the street. Like you got some stairs onto the porch, and then there's a step into our house. And so into the I just realized everyone has no idea what I'm talking about unless you followed me on Twitter. So I was gifted, potentially gifted a HSP. An HSP ended up on my porch. And I looked at it at Saturday morning, and I put it to a Twitter poll, and then the people spoke. So I ate it. So I put it in I pan fried it up, put some salt on it, made it hot again. I feel great. And yeah, so someone had like gone inside our gate, which is again like you got to really come inside, walked up the steps, and then left it on a hook next to our door. What was the sauce on it? It was barbecue sauce. Now usually I am a person who does. Okay, here's my usual sauces. Hummus, garlic sauce, and hot sauce. All three. So barbecue. I'm not a big like barbecue sauce guy, but it was great. It actually tasted. I have to admit, when it turned up on our doorstep, it looked like shit. It really looked bad. But when I fried it up, it looked really good. It tasted great. So I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. And then after that, someone placed a full used washing machine directly outside of our door. And now it's been there just for 2 days. And I don't really know what to do. And like it's not near another house, and we have a really small sidewalk, so it wasn't like someone just like, oh, there's heaps of room next to this road, so I can just put it there and someone will pick it up. Also, our street is like, it's technically a two-way street, but it's very, very narrow, so only like one car can get through, and it's not a main thoroughfare, so it's not like someone is like, oh, I'm just like driving down here. Or even another house, like it's not that close to another house. I have no idea why it happened, but that's how we ended up there. So yes to the HSP. No, I have not used the washing machine yet because we have one, but maybe. No cheese, which is a bit disappointing. No cheese. I really just like I legitimately could not stop watching this. It's so funny. Is there anything that sums up the man better than this? Just the look in his face as well. That real geese there. Look at that. That's the face that I do when I'm trying to do anything like really complex as well. I'm like, what's going on? Okay, so that was really funny, right? But let me draw your attention to something else, which was his response today was like typically Scott Morrison deranged. So this is from News Corp today. Scott Morrison has hit back at online criticism for his welding technique after a video of him went viral for all the wrong reasons. While in the Northern Territory, the Prime Minister tried his hand at welding, but he was captured lifting up his face shield while sparks flew centimeters from his face. The clip went viral, with Labor using it as a pitch for votes, saying, "This is what happens when you take money from TAFE." Okay, not bad. The criticism of Scott Morrison technique comes in wake of criticism of his hair washing technique and his ukulele playing. He hit back at his critics on Monday, saying, "Those things are not my day job. If people want me to have a crack about me, they can. I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot to learn if I want to do those jobs. I think our apprentices and the small businesses that are giving them a go are fantastic. Thank you to the troops. And this is the most deranged bit. And if all the narcs in the bubble want to have a crack at me, well, they can. But what I'm doing is showcasing the great work of our apprentices and the businesses. Now, I mean, like, look, you might be like, that's typical Scott Morrison, and I think it is. But like, you might be like, it's typical politician. I'm just gonna turn this negative into like actually a compliment. But it's this deranged thing where he does, where he turns so all the narcs in the bubble, that's not it. In fact, if anything, it was the people who were actual, like, who tradies, people who welders, who actually know how to do it, were some of the people who I saw who were being like, that's really bad. But then he does this thing, which he did. Remember when Emmanuel Macron, the French president, called him a liar, where he says, but what I'm doing is showcasing the great work of our apprentices and small businesses. He makes it like, he makes a criticism of him is actually a criticism of like all these other people. And so he like, not only does he make himself into the victim in this situation, but he does this like really special thing where he also makes other people into the victims and saying, you're actually being attacked. It's a very like, call me racist is actually extremely, like, it's actually reverse racism to like all white people as well. How dare you? Like, we can't say anything anymore. You know, it's like, he makes someone who's being like, that was really bad, dude. Like, just face it, that sucked. And then he also the thing that takes it to the other level is that he is like, these people are not just criticizing me, they're criticizing you as well. Trust me. If there are any people who are listening to this who took this personally, I meant no offense to you. I only meant it to Scott Morrison and his he's legitimately dangerous, like legitimately very, very bad welding skills. It's insane. The man just can't be like, yeah, look, not my best. I'll leave it to the experts. He's like, this is an attack on all of you. And then he's like, he expects an applause. The sound clip's good. I'm into it. Okay, let's quickly get into some other more serious stuff before we move on. We're going to talk about the Clive Palmer stuff. This is just an interesting update on where things are at. Clive Palmer has spent more than $31 million since August on political advertising for his United Australia Party, dwarfing the outlay of major parties and putting him on track to fulfill his promise to run the most expensive election campaign in the nation's history. The advertising blitz in the lead up to the expected May election has been described as obscene and dangerous for democracy by former appeal judge and chair of the Centre for Public Integrity, Anthony Wheely. Television ads urging viewers to back the UAP have been running in most capital cities for months. But Mr. Palmer is also spending big in metro and national newspapers such as The Australian, The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald, and online publications. Figures from Nielsen, which tracks ad spending, show that Labor has spent just $260,000 on party ads, and the Liberal Party just $246,000. UAP has spent more than 100 times more, and almost as much as it spent in the entire 2019 election on advertising. Craig Kelly, of course, said that the party was relying solely on Palmer's deep pockets to finance the advertising blitz. Palmer's company, Mineralogy, tipped more than $80 million into the UAP's 2019 campaign. Let us have a quick look at some of the ads that he's running as well. What do we got here?
I am leading the United Australia Party at the next federal election. The United Australia Party will stand candidates for every seat in the House of Representatives and the Senate. Stop lockdowns from health officers destroying your life and jobs. Protect freedom of speech.
What the fuck?
Choices for all Australians. Governments must stop bullying Australians. Get the army off the streets and free our citizens. The coalition between Labor and Liberals destroys your rights and freedoms. Liberal and Labor have destroyed our economy. They've made $1 trillion debt. They've destroyed jobs and families.
The music.
Stop the lockdowns. Time for a change.
I love this. They're still spending money on this. It says stop the lockdowns. There's nowhere in Australia that's in a lockdown.
The lockdowns. Time for a change. Protect and defend your livelihood.
Stop
Save
the
our
lockdowns.
businesses and our jobs. Together, we can take our country back. Together, we can achieve a new government. We can never trust Liberals or Labor again.
Hell yeah. So they've been running that for the last 6 days. It's literally out of date, and they spent more than $100,000 on this. Oh, what's this one? I haven't seen this one.
Others that have joined us are concerned about the future, about the technology to identify who you are, which we've seen happening and developing in China. They're worried that that's what government will do next, a facial recognition technology that will enter a stage where we have government by remote control, where our bank accounts are pillaged, where our identity is known. There'll be a social credit system like what there is in China. These things are very un-Australian.
Damn, what the hell? Maybe Clive is good now. I'm with you. I'm not a fan of facial recognition. Okay, Clive. Okay, Clive. You got the applause from me. Curvy Gamer Wife. We've literally been using facial recognition in retail spaces for capitalism reasons. Yeah, I mean, look, that's the dumbest thing, right? It's already all over the place. We're screwed. Let's not get into that. It'll depress me. Hey, my boy, Big Johnny D. Nice to have you here. Now we should cover this as well, because we did talk about how our friend Zoe Steagall had gotten caught out not disclosing something properly, but the Nationals, surprise, surprise, just the party that loves to show its full ass like all the time. Of course, also made a pretty similar mistake. The federal director of the Nationals failed to disclose a $1 million payment from a key financial supporter until a federal audit forced the party to reveal the transfer almost 2 years after the last election. 2 years. The payment meant the Nationals gained much more support from a private fund than the party claimed in its report to the AEC in a series of elections errors identified years afterwards. The Nationals did not reveal the $1 million contribution from the investment vehicle John McEwen House, even though the federal office only had $3.1 million in total receipts for the financial year covering the last election. Oh, sorry. I didn't even notice that $1 million coming in. We were just like, we were inundated with the $2.1 million. That just meant we had no idea that such a small, tiny, insignificant donation for us was also contributed. The mistake at one of the two coalition parties heightens the dispute over integrity in politics when government MPs are accusing independent candidates in the Climate 200 campaign group of failing to disclose their funding. Zoe Steagall admitted a rookie error in failing to disclose the source for a $100,000 donation. The $1 million correction by the Nationals leaves the government open to attack. They found the audit into the Nationals. Yep. Some more. Yeah, I mean, look, this how can a party overlook a $1 million payment? Great question. Oh, that's weird. When the company secretary at John McEwen House also lodged a formal tax return with the AEC after the last election. It also understated given to the Nationals by 1 million and had to be corrected after an audit by the AEC. That's funny, mate. It's just, isn't it weird it's just weird how both parties just accidentally forgot $1 million. Just, what a coincidence. Anyway, we're good. We actually don't need any integrity reforms in politics. We're good. Things are fine. Okay. When we come back, I'm gonna put it to a poll while I grab some water. But so there's a story about the Grilled CEO allegedly being in a video with a meth pipe, and there was a back and forth between 9 newspapers and News Corp about how it came about. And there's now I think 4 different articles about it that shows them kind of fighting about it. Do people want me to go into that? Because it is, I think, very interesting. It will take probably a little bit of time, but to talk about how whether it was true that this video is actually years and years old or more recent, and get to the bottom of this fight between Sharry Markson, who is the Australian's investigation editor, and Chip Legrand, who is I think he's Nine's national correspondent. So I'm going to put in Grilled CEO, don't do. Okay, it's in the chat. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, grab some water. When I come back, we're also going to talk about Albo the communist. We're going to talk about how the world is on fire. And also, we should probably talk about why racism is now welcome here. Okay, back in. Hello, how are we all? We good? We going well? Cam Wilson here. Thank you for joining me tonight. Hey, are my little sound clips, are they coming up on over this as well? Let me see if I'm gonna play a little sound clip. I'll hit my gavel. Hell yeah. I got a great one. Can you hear that? Beautiful. Okay. We gotta get to the Grilled saga. We have to talk about it. But first, I would like to do our my first session. Not my first session. My first session for the week. Bring us all back to Journalism Judge, where we are all judges in a jury of judges, and we're judging journalism.
All rise.
I am too excited to have that. Okay, let's do it. This is Albo the communist. I don't know if you saw the scoop today. I think it came from James Morrow. It was titled "Left Field Bombshell for Albo." Breaking. Why was Albo sitting down with the paper of the Communist Party of Australia 2 years after the Berlin Wall fell? Breaking. This just in. This 3-decade-old scoop just in. Huge. Here's the piece. A young Anthony Albanese participated in a forum with the official magazine of the Chinese Communist Party of Australia, nearly 18 months after the Berlin Wall fell and the horrors of the Marxist political system were exposed. The interview, which appeared in the 1991 edition of CPA's House Organ Tribune, was a feature called The Changing Left Coherence Theory, included Mr. Albanese as one of the figures who were asked by the paper to respond to a series of propositions and to each other. By 1991, all the former communist regimes of Eastern Europe had been replaced by democratically elected ones. At the time, the world was coming to grips with what had happened in Eastern Europe in the name of communism, and around the same time, Mr. Albanese was speaking to tribune citizens of the former German Democrat Republic. Wait, what? There should be a comma there. Oh, yeah. And around the same time, Mr. Albanese was speaking to tribune, citizens of the former German Democrat Republic were organizing to uncover the secrets of the country's old Stasi secret police. Oh my God, I can't speak. In the interview, Mr. Albanese talked about the challenges that Labour would have were it to win power off then Premier Nick Grenier's Liberal state government, suggesting it would be easier to take potshots in opposition. Then, again, what is the editing on this? I mean, look, I'm not someone who's like, it's there, not there, but I mean, come on, you got this big scoop. You could give it a little proofread. In the interview, Mr. Albanese, oh no, I already said that. Being in government confronts the Labour Party Labour movement as a whole, not just the Labour Party, with questions which the left failed to consider. How Labour puts its principles into actions, how we deal with questions of internationalisation of capital. It's easy to construct a vision of an anti-nuclear society or an environmentally aware one, or based on equality. Is that's damning. That's horrible. I can't believe you said that. Absolutely caught out. Far left communist swill talking about an anti-nuclear society or the environment. There's literally nothing else in this this is, yeah. It just goes on to say that someone else in the ad, look, at the same time as running the interview with Albanese, Tribune ran a classified ad promoting a politics in the pub, okay? And in the 1990s, he led a faction known as the Hard Left, which had a close ties to communist organizations, okay? The Hard Left would ironically change its name to the Socialist Left the same day the Berlin Wall fell. Is that ironic? Yeah, okay. So there we go. Exposed. Anthony Albanese, what? This is... Also, this is another 31-year-old thing. Now, should we ask? I'm going to put it to... Sorry, let me first make sure I get everyone's attention. I'm putting it to the poll. Is James Morrow guilty of journalism crimes? Yes, no. Let me know what you think. While you're doing that, let me say what I think. I mean, look, I'm just like, I'll be honest with you. I'm actually embarrassed that someone would put that they would say that this is a breaking scoop, because he doesn't actually say anything controversial. Even if he said something controversial, this is 30 years ago, but they can't even get that. This isn't a magazine that was associated, not even, associated with the Communist Party of Australia. Now, we can give interviews to people who we don't necessarily, agree with everything that they write. And then I think, let me see if I can find, John. So John is a academic who I've spoken to before, who studied the left in Australia. And let me find the piece. Good to see the Daily Telly's learned how to use Trove. Trove, by the way, is the National Library of Australia's archives that you can use online. Sorry to say, though, that the Australian Party broke with the Soviet Union in 1968, and by 1991, it was difficult to tell it apart from the left of Labour. A swing and a miss from the reactionary press. So what he's saying is this you can't even associate the Communist Party of Australia with the Berlin Wall stuff. It's just all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And let me have a look. In the comments we have, or in the poll, the charge is James Morrow, guilty of journalism crimes. We have 15 ayes and 1 no, The ayes have it. Guilty. Sentenced to, I don't know. Get out of my feed. Don't want to see this shit. Okay. We gotta do this. Okay, so Z-Feed has asked. It's a good question. Was Morrow assigned this, or does he pitch it? And let me explain how the ways that this story might have come. So there's two ways. Did the publication find this? Like, did News Corp find it? Did James Morrow personally find this? Is he going through Trove? Do they have an intern going through Trove? Are they just trying to dig back into his past? Because I mean, look, we knew that he had more outright radical beliefs back then. Or the alternative is, did someone else give him this story? So in journalism, this is what they call occasionally a drop, when someone someone will give some kind of news piece to a journalist. So here's a drop. Here's an announcement that I have. Here's a drop. In this case, we know that parties like the Liberal Party, like the Labor Party as well, have dirt units, and so that is people who are researching the main political characters. So, like, you know, they'd be looking into Albo's past, they'd be, I guess, looking into ScoMo's past, and Bant's past, all this kind of stuff for stories that they can then give to news outlets so that it gets run, and then they can also then talk about it in Parliament or on the stump or whatever. We don't know how this came up, and I think sometimes people assume more often that things are like set up, that, you know, that everything's a drop, everything's been brought up by a dirt unit. But we do know that, you know, as James Morrow, who is the federal politics editor for the Daily Telegraph, he does get stories from the Liberal Party seemingly quite often. I don't know whether they're officially sanctioned or whether he's just worked sources or it's somewhere in between. But it wouldn't surprise me if this was the result of one of those units that's working overtime. That's also, if you remember in the last week, uncovered the 2018 video of Albo speaking Mandarin at a public event. Again, it emerged. Someone got it up to like make people scared of Albo and the CCP. And then there was also the other 1991 thing that came from the Australian. That was Sharry Markson, that was writing about how Albo had, when he was younger, had said, if you earn more than the equivalent of $200,000 a year in Australia, if you earn more than the equivalent of $200,000 a year today, you know, there's something that's like, you know, going on there, and we've got to make sure that wealth distribution is fair. Crazy. But that was packaged up as a anti-wealth scoop, radical roots. It's pretty bad. Okay, let's do this. We got to do this. I got to make through this grilled saga. So this story is wild. So this published. Yeah, here we go. Lark Distilling CEO Jeff Bainbridge quits over shock video. Let's see if we can show the video. I haven't seen this video. Oh, I love a warning.
Just get high together, babe. You'd be just like, oh, I can be so hot. You're all babe.
Oh my god, this is really cringe. I don't want to watch that. Yeah. Anyway, so it was a video of oh yeah, we should definitely, Leo, you gotta cover your eyes in the chat, mate. A multi-millionaire chief executive has abruptly quit after being exposed smoking meth in an explicit video he claims were being used to extort money from him. Jeff Bainbridge, who is the co-founder of Grilled, slashed more than $70 million from the ASX company's value. He filmed himself smoking a meth pipe in his underwear while making sexually explicit comments. Through his lawyers, Bainbridge told The Australian that the recordings had been manipulated. But a second account on Wednesday, which we'll get to, confirmed the video. He said he confirmed he was in the video, but said he had been targeted for years by a foreign criminal group demanding he paid thousands of dollars. His resignation came despite the Australian agreeing not to publish the material until he was able to respond. He requested that the footage not be shared with the board. In the video, he lights the smoke pipe, says, "Let's get fucking high together. I'll smoke meth and blow it all of you." I'm not going to say that. He inhales and blows in the phone and says, "I'm so high. I'm not going to say this because I will get clipped saying it, so I will avoid it." Mr. Bainbridge, despite having filmed the footage himself, appearing alone in the bedroom while addressing an absent sexual partner, claims he was set up as part of a shakedown. He told... we'll get to this in a second. Yeah, I think that's it. So, and here's the justification, by the way, for I mean, this is... They also have to kind of make a case why this is in the public interest. Rachel Waterhouse, chief executive of the Australian Shareholders Association, said investors had to be confident that business leaders were making good decisions. Having a sound mind is really important in making good business decisions and acting ethically. A large organization should have a drug and alcohol policy. Yeah, okay. So that came out. But then, either shortly after or just, yeah, I think, how's that, what was the time on that? Yes, okay, so the day before, so that was written by Sherry Markson. The day before, this had come out. So this is by Chip Legrand, who is Nine's, I think, chief correspondent. Is a big boy at Nine Papers. For the past 6 years, public humiliation and shame has stalked Melbourne entrepreneur Jeff Bainbridge. A day ago, a WhatsApp message from an all too familiar mobile phone warned that unless he paid up, time is running out. So he claims that an extortion racket that began in 2015, that when he awoke in a familiar apartment to two strange men with video footage showing what he'd done the night before. The most explicit video showed him only wearing underpants, smoking ice from a glass pipe, and ranting in a stomach-induced haze. Quote, "My stomach hit the ground. I was horrified." So he says that what had happened is he'd in Southeast Asia looking for other investment opportunities. He'd settled in at a bar and struck up a conversation with a woman. After a few drinks, he agreed to go to a party. On the way, they stopped at her apartment. Another couple was there. They drank more and shared a joint. The rest is a jumble. He confirms it is him in the video, but says he isn't an ice user and doesn't know how he came to have the drug or what else was given. The next morning, when Bainbridge awoke to discover two strange men, he soon realized it was a shakedown. They played him the footage. They threatened to expose him. They demanded money. He says he took them back to his hotel and gave them cash, gave them $3,000 in total. They left for a few years. Then in 2019, he got more messages. So he says that he made a series of payments to two extortionists, paying nearly $9,000. He says because of the illegal drug use, he didn't feel he'd go to the police. Instead, as the frequency and size of the demands grew, he this month approached a London-based global risk consultancy for advice. This is an important part. The ability of the extortionists to alter the date stamp on one of the videos they sent Bainbridge to make it appear as if it was captured in 2021 and not 2015 showed a level of technical proficiency. In a recent message, they threatened to provide the videos to Australian media outlets. A subsequent message carried evidence they had. He was given two options, either meet the financial demands or disengaged. He chose the latter. Then he was contacted by Sherry Markson, who wrote the other article. Okay, so just to summarize before we get into this. This one actually came out first, and then what this said was that allegations that were going to be made in an article published the next day were false. The former Grilled CEO was being extorted by other people. There are other people who set up that video somehow, and that they had altered the video so that it looked like it had come out in 2021 when in actual fact it was 2015. And he was also kind of heavily implying that the only way that people could have gotten this footage is if they were working with extortionists. Now, there's a lot of like journalism, like, you know, does it matter where you get information? But also you probably don't want to work with extortionists. That's a whole thing. But what it seemed like is that this, from a very major journalist in a rival publication, was saying that the Australian, their journalist, had been hoodwinked, had been working with extortionists, whether knowingly or not knowingly, not making any allegations there. This is just what they're saying. And that this guy actually wanted to get a reasonable chance, wanted to clear the air. And I'll have to say, when I first read this, I was like, I don't really know what happened, but I you know, wouldn't be the first time that there was you know, something misleading that come out in a way like this. But then this in time between now and then, there were a few other things that came out. Shari, who wrote the article for the Australian, wrote something saying that essentially, no, this wasn't true. I don't like the fact that this footage was technologically changed, which, by the way, is actually not that hard. And everyone seems to be making out as if it's like a very difficult thing. It's actually quite an easy thing. But she was saying that no, that was not, like, they were misled, but she didn't provide any proof. But then what came out today is the ICE video that multi-millionaire entrepreneur Jeff Bainbridge claims was taken 6 years ago as part of a sophisticated extortion racket was actually in the bedroom of his Melbourne home from the past 18 months. The revelation discredits Mr. Bainbridge's claim that the video depicting his methamphetamine use was filmed in a Southeast Asian country in 2015, after a night out with mystery people who went on to extort him. The well-scripted story, provided to the Age, Sydney Morning Herald, and dutifully reported by The Guardian, AFR, and Seven, documented a horror tale that haunted him for overseas. The new evidence uncovered by The Australian suggests that this story is a total fabrication, as he obviously recorded the drug-taking video in his inner Melbourne house he bought in late 2020. He bought the home on July 2020 for $3.465 not bad million, and settled it the following month when he took out an NAB mortgage. Online real estate photos show the master bedroom, positioned at the front of the home, features a unique light fitting, ornate ceiling decor, period shutters, and a study nook in the corner of a bedroom, a fireplace, and a distinctive bedhead. This expose also doubles as a nice little promo for the house as well. All these details can be seen very clearly in 3 full unpublished videos recorded by Mr. Bainbridge that were obtained by The Australian. The unique light fitting is identical to the real estate images online, along with the ceiling decor, the period shutters, the study nook, the bedhead, and the fireplace. In defending the outrageous drug footage, Mr. Bainbridge made the case that it was historic and led to 7 years of misery from extortionists. The Australian asked Mr. Bainbridge and his lawyer why he claimed the video was filmed overseas when it was recorded in his home in the last 18 months. And he replied, "No comment, no response. Just let her do what she's gonna do." It sounds like he sent that message to the wrong person. He's having a bad time. The documents also confirm the transfer of the property into his name, so along with ASIC documents. The Age also reported that they were so technically proficient they were able to alter the timestamp. There's another leg. Let's have a look at these photos. So here we go. Here's our meth. Here's our little light fitting right there. And I mean, look, let's see if we can find the actual. Look, we can't know exactly what happened. I'm gonna see if I can find this house. Look at this little. Just gonna reverse image search it. Sorry, but yeah, outdone. But okay, what do you guys? So which angle is it coming from? So the light is. Okay, so this photo here is taken from the opposite. It must be the opposite side, right? Yeah, it must be. So toxin live. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I probably shouldn't do that. Actually, okay, I might not do that. Yes. Anyway. So what do we reckon? Do we buy that? I mean, look, it looks to me like actually, that article from the 9 papers was, it appears to be not right. And so I'm pretty curious to see, what happens if they'll come out and respond to it. Let's have a look if Chip Legrand, great name by the way, has responded in any way on Twitter, because it was fairly pretty big article. So he's the chief reporter for The Age. Well, he's been online since then, and he's posted something, but he has not addressed that. That's very, very awkward. Not good. Not good. Okay. Okay, I'll be back in 30 seconds. I'm just going to have some more water, and then we'll just cover a final few things, including why racism is literally allowed in Woollahra, I think. Why they're welcoming racism in a very strange turn of events. Back in a second. Hello! Okay, final few things. Let's go through this. Sorry, Cam Wilson here. Thank you for joining me, having a nice time. How are you all? Good. Okay. Oh, this is good. Haven't covered this. Very important. This was an estimates last week.
Correct, yes. So I understand the premise of the campaign is to promote buying products.
Oh, no, you can't see it. Ay, yo. Okay, here we go.
That's correct, yes. So I understand the premise of the campaign is to promote buying.
Cordon 4K. Absolutely done. Senator Andrew Bragg. Look, I know Senate inquiries are supposed to be for digging, but not there, mate. Sorry. Got him. Absolutely wrecked him. Found any gold up there? No speaker confirmed. Oh, I haven't spoken. I forgot to put the mic Cannon Brooks in there. We'll have to get to that next time. Not as bad as the Rudd thing. What Rudd thing? Rudd ear. Oh, really? Oh, no, I don't remember this. Oh my god, look at that elbow there, by the way. I've just a new video has emerged of Albo looking like a massive dork. Okay, here we go.
Is the minister concerned that residents have been...
His voice has changed, hasn't it?
Circulated with leaflets by the Minister for Trade, the member for Lyne, saying that, and I quote, "I would like to assure you..."
Oh, what?
"That residents who occupy accommodation on a permanent basis, i.e. saying that, and that residents have been circulated with leaflets by the Minister for Trade, the member for Lyne.
He's digging.
Saying that, and I quote, "I would like to assure you..."
It's in the mouth. Oh. And then
that residents who occupy accommodation on a permanent basis...
And you can see he's... Oh. Did he win? Did he become Prime Minister after that? Oh, I don't know. Oh. Not ideal. Okay, move on. Quick, Ben Robert Smith update. Our good friend, just remember this is the lawsuit that he brought, that he's doing to clear his name. A senior army officer has told a Sydney court that he was left in shock when his subordinate, Ben Robert Smith, threatened to smash his face in at an unofficial soldiers' bar in Afghanistan. The witness, known as Person 69, told the federal court of his 2006 deployment to Afghanistan. He recalled his understanding of a difficult mission where SAS operators were surrounded by Taliban fighters. A witness at time, Captain, later attended the Fat Lady's Arms Bar with 2 warrant officers and overheard SAS operators discussing the mission. He told the court he heard Mr. Robert Smith say the words to the effect of, "I was watching the expression on the guy's face as the bullets crept closer." Person 69 said he looked over his shoulder towards Mr. Robert Smith, then a Lance Corporal, who said they were sitting a metre away. He saw me, turned to me, and said, "What the fuck are you doing here? I should smash your face in." I was in shock because I'd never been spoken to that way by a subordinate. I didn't know what to say. Person 69, said one of the warrant officers warned Mr. Robert Smith to pull your fucking head in, and the other gave him a menacing stare. I decided it would be best if I left, and I never returned. Again, just to be clear, this is the lawsuit that Ben Robert Smith brought to clear his name. Not great. And finally, just we should quickly cover this. I want to get it. Liberal Party councillors from Sydney's eastern suburbs are pushing for anti-racist signs to be removed, saying the virtue signalling efforts have offended residents and made them feel like racists. Poor residents. 3 members of the Woollahra Municipal Council have introduced a motion calling for signs proclaiming racism not welcome to be pulled down from residential streets in the local government area. Councillors say multiple locals, upwards of 2, have contacted them to voice their displeasure with the 12 signs which were installed as part of a Sydney-wide anti-racism campaign. On streets where the signs have been erected, locals have been made to feel like racists. Locals say the signs give a false impression that Woollahra locals are racists. These signs do not properly represent our community and are simply an appropriation, a cultural appropriation perhaps, from some other community or other local government area where racism may be rife. I like, not even like committing to it. There may be racism out there, but it's not here, so don't worry about that. Yeah, look. Just grow up. Yeah. Okay. That's it. I think I'm going to call it now. I'm running out of steam. It's getting... Oh, my God. It's past my bedtime. Thank you all for joining. Now, I won't be streaming on Friday because I will be... where will I be? I will be at an award ceremony. So I will be there. Oh, okay. I've been teasing this for ages. I gotta do it. What is the gayest town in Australia? Final one.
I visited Australia's accidentally gay town, and everything there is just living. Yes, jewelers. Yes, news agency.
Sorry, let me start again.
Yes, outdoor. I visit. Yes, auto spares and servicing. Yes, signs. Yes, gentle dental care. Yes, car wash. Yes, outdoor sports and camping. A great piece of yes.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you to Australia's gayest town. I love that. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you all. See you, Bored Hermit. See you, Windy Penguin. See you, Satias. I don't think I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm sorry. See ya, Kyle. See ya, Leo. See ya, Pyro. See ya, Board. See ya, G. Joes. See ya, Regina. See ya, J-Dog. See ya, Cloth. Villainy. See ya, Hardzan. See ya, Zale. See ya, Little Flick. Moz6522. See ya, Big Johnny D. See ya, Timberlag. Nice to have you. See ya, Mitch. I will say, I might do another stream this week. I'm not decided. But yeah. I'll watch you guys. It'll be on Twitter. No, you all sleep well. And we will go check out... Yeah, why don't we check out our good friend here, Real Rad Home, another politics Twitch. I hope you will all have a good night, have a good week, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye.